everyone, and welcome to the first ever Shipper Age Magic the Gathering video. Um, Not really sure where to start with this. I'm going to just go ahead and preface it with kind of what I like to play and what my sort of deck profiles are. So my big format is EDH. Pretty much all I play is Commander slash EDH. I used to be a fairly avid player. Ended up not keeping up with it. I'm just kind of heavily getting back into it. I still have a lot of my decks. I just recently updated this, which is my colorless EDH deck. This is my red white deck, which is one of my personal favorite decks. This was a just sort of test to see if I could make a colorless EDH deck work, and I can, and it's fun, and it's different than I was expecting. So I'm excited about this one a lot. I'll probably do like a little quick play test against no opponent, but just to kind of show you why I like this deck so much, and see if the play test I was doing yesterday on the computer simulation hold up at all to what I actually end up being able to do with this deck in person. I am a bit rusty on the rules, and things are a little bit different when I played. I think I stopped playing about the time that Mana Burned was taken out of the game. So if that gives you any inkling of how long it's been since I've like really actually played this game, it's been quite some time. Um, Gotta have an Arnold Palmer for breakfast here. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So I have my Boros red white deck. This is one of my sort of staples, my fave. My commander for this deck is Brian Stout Arm here. I apologize if the camera is not the greatest. I realize that these little cameras I've got may not be the best, so hopefully it shows up clear enough for you guys at least to tell what you're seeing. I'm trying a different camera angle as well from when I would stream this stuff for this video. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just jump right in. It's worth noting, which I've talked about this on my stream. For those of you that don't know, this was actually doodled for me by Edward Beard Jr. himself. I am a Warframe partner, and it turns out one of the other Warframe partners' father is actually Edward Beard Jr., which was that was a revelation in and of itself. So he was there at TennoCon. Unfortunately, I did not have anything but these two decks, and none of these two decks have his cards. I do have some of his cards as I went through my collection and seen. It's just in boxes like this, which I finally got sorted. And I have two of these boxes right here. And then I've got four more. Actually, sorry, three more. Not four more. I have three more boxes like this. These are just lands. So I have three of those boxes, two of the big boxes, as well as, which this is a very cool box that I've I actually picked this up for like $2 when I was in college at a Goodwill. It's it's got some damage and stuff on it, so couldn't resell it or anything. But it's more of a sort of intrinsic nostalgic value. These are all decks as well. EDH, 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 EDH. These are what remain of my standard decks. I have not torn these apart. I don't know if all of these are archived yet on tappedout.net. So what I typically like to do is I like to catalog every revision of a deck. So I have my old revision of this deck before I made my changes, and now I have my new revision. Both are on my tapped out profile, which I'll probably put a link in below. I don't know if these EDH ones are, because these ones are just kind of thrown together EDH ones. I forget, what do we got? We have a Imara Tandris, so it's a green-white deck there. We've got another green-white deck. Really? I built two green-white decks? That's interesting. Probably because I hate blue so much. Yes, Tessa, Envoy of Ghost. There's a black-white. That's a pretty good one. That's actually a lot of fun. I like that deck. Then we have a green-blue. So I did build the blue. I thought I built one blue deck for some reason, and I did. It's a green-blue, which explains that I'd probably put green with it just so I could get some mana ramp, things like that. Anyway, So just kind of showcasing some stuff here, give you guys a little idea where we're at. I do want to do a video where I build another deck. I have some fantastic sleeves, by the way. I personally think so. These are the other one. These are actually, I think, my most favorite. I should have showed it when I showed Byron. Bad Beat. I don't know why. I just love these ones so much. I think it's also because like the texture is kind of a matte. These are really slick, and I like this just matte finish, and it feels very just nice. But the Bad Beat is a classic. I love it. My other deck actually in here has my only other cool sleeves that I've got. These are just generic black ones here. Which are still very nice sleeves, don't get me wrong. But these ones are slick too, but they're not as slick as these. But they're the bacon sleeves, you know. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is, I do a little bit weird playtesting, and the reason I do this is because I was actually doing it on tappedout.net. So tappedout.net, you can playtest your hand, but you can essentially go through and play a one-sided version of Magic. And one-sided being you only have your deck. So essentially you're just playing to damage an imaginary opponent that does nothing, or that, basically can't really do anything at all. So it's not a real play test, but it is a good idea to kind of showcase, like, hey, how many turns does it take if my deck goes off unhindered? Like, how long does it really take for this deck to fire off, and how long does it take? So for me, in my test yesterday, I want to say I probably did about 15 to 20 of these sort of mock fake play tests. And I ended up getting pretty consistently about a turn 10 kill. So that's not terrible, I feel like. This deck has only gone through one revision, and that was just a few days ago, and I still don't have a lot of artifacts. And now that I'm learning how this deck works, I learned what works really, really fucking well, and cards that, hey, I should look into getting something way different or something just better in general. And I found a couple. I already have a wish list going on Card Kingdom, which I definitely recommend that for at least checking and kind of, I haven't really looked at where to purchase, so so I'm gonna draw 7. Hopefully I get not... Okay, cool. We're already in a not terrible position. 6, 7. Alright. So, right off the bat, I can tell you this is not a terrible hand. So, basically, I'm going to keep a little... I'm going to do a... Let's do a turn tracker. Hold on. Oops, that's not what I want. Is there really not a... I guess I could just make a value. Alright, guess we're just going to go... Alright, so right now we're just going to do the calculator app, because that will work. Alright, so this is turn 1 right here. So turn 1, I will play, let's see. I'll play Mishra's Factory, so we'll start with that. And then I will actually tap that and play Elixir of Immortality. And you guys may notice I do things a little bit weird compared to what some people do. Personally, I like... also, this is a very small mat. This is actually not a play mat at all. This is actually just a mouse pad, but I like it so much that I've been using it as a playmat. So I usually put lands down here, artifacts kind of up here somewhere, creatures, over here, and then my graveyard I actually put it off because this is only like an 11 by like 17, so it's not really that wide. Alright, so Elixir of Immortality, tap 2, tap it, gain 5 life, sack, actually, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, no. You don't sack it. You shuffle Elixir of Immortality and your graveyard into your library. This is a very good card, I feel like. Okay, so that's turn 1. Let's do +1. Alright, so this would be turn 2. Untap, draw. See, I'm really bad. Normally, I draw and then untap, and a lot of people, when I like near the end of it, got really pissed at me for some reason. I'm like, it's a simple, just like I get it now because like I understand that there's a lot of stuff at like upkeep step and such and such. Actually, here, you know what I should do? I'm gonna open tapped out just so I can actually track. Let's do that because then that way I can track the lives as well. Because it's really nice when you think about it that it can track 2 individual lives. You can track the turns. I should have just done that from the get-go, is actually have it open. And then I could just, it doesn't matter what I actually do physically on the board. I'll just use it for number counting. Let's do playtest. There it is. V1. Alright, so we're on turn 2. And then that way I do have the life totals now. Okay, so I have the turn 2, or the turn count and the life count, which is going to be nice. Okay, so I got 2 out. Can't do anything else, sadly, so pass. Go next turn. Alright, play Gargoyle Castle. I usually stack like 3 lands in a row. Especially with these. These are specialty lands, so I got to try to kind of remember what they all do. Alright, so we'll go ahead and swing for 3. Graven Abomination. Whenever Graven Abomination attacks, exile target card from depending player's graveyard. 3-1 for 3. Not the best, but this card's actually popped up quite a bit. It's not so much a chump blocker, I feel, as a chump attacker. But if you can get him out pretty early like this, it's kind of nice, not going to lie. So, can't do anything else this turn. Draw. Let's see, next turn. Alright, so untap. See, I literally just drew an untap. See, that's what I mean. It's hard. Old habits die hard because it never mattered because I was such a casual player and most of everyone around me. I'll rephrase that. Most of everyone around me were very casual players. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see, what can I summon in. I'm gonna go ahead and actually drop a Snare Thopter. So it's a 3/2. It's got Flying and Haste, which is honestly quite fantastic, I believe. I'm not dropping a whole lot of artifacts yet, but that's pretty much all my hand is. I'll go ahead and show you guys. I've got a Tower of Calamities in here. I've got Luxa River Shrine, which is a fan-fucking-tastic card, I think. The fact that you tap one, tap it, you gain a life, and then you put a brick counter on it, and after 3 times of doing that, you just tap it and you get 2 life as long as you have 3 or more brick counters on it, which is like, that is quite fantastic to me. And you don't have to get rid of the brick counters, which is nice. You just, hey, you have 3 brick counters? Well, then there you go. And then Riot Gear. Riot Gear is pretty solid. It's not too bad. I might change this out for something. Riot Gear is, its equipped creature gets +1/+2. Something on like Graven Abomination is not bad. Then it makes him a 4/3, but it's 2 to play, 2 to equip. So it's kind of meh. So I'll swing for 6. So what are we at? We're at turn 4, and I've swung for 6 so far. So that seems like, hey, how the hell are you going to do this by turn 10? Well, I don't always do it by turn 10, but we'll see. All right, so turn 5, untap everything. And like I said, this doesn't account for whatever the hell your opponent's doing. This is just trying to play test through, see, hey, can I... It's not a real, necessarily playtest. It's like a mock one-sided playtest. I don't really know what you'd call it, but it's fun. It's fun if you start looking at what your deck can do. Like, don't focus so much on how your deck can perform, but what your deck can do and looking into the combinations, the self-synergy, because if you're looking at the external synergy, that's a whole different game, because then you're relying on what your opponent has, what your opponent plays, things like that, which to me can be fun, but it's not usually fun for me. Like, it's not something I go for. So I'm going to go ahead and tap 3 and 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to play Luxa River Shrine. I'm going to move these guys over a little bit here. See, that's what I mean. This is a very small area to work with. I should get a bigger one. And then we're going to go summon in Riot Gear. So if I had more if I had a little bit more mana, I would go for tapping this and getting me some more life, which would be nice. I don't think I have any of the lands yet that... No. There's a couple lands in this deck that once you have like 5 or more lands, or if you're summoning Eldrazi, things like that, or using them for like an artifact, make them cheaper, give you double the mana. It's actually very, very nice. So we'll go ahead and put those in, and we'll swing for 6 again. Which, I mean, hey, that's not bad. Down to 28 from 40, turn 5, you know. I mean, no blockers, nothing like that. So basically, you do swing every turn. So it's just kind of to show, hey, this is, you know, unimpeded how good it can be. Like, I feel like I'm really driving that point home because I feel like a lot of people see this and be like, this is stupid. This isn't, you know, but it is what it is. We're going to go 4, 1, and 1. Or, sorry, 4 and 1. So we'll do this. I get a brick counter on it, which I don't have a counter. I'll just have to remember that. Here, actually, do I have something that I can put? It would be really funny if I had that card in my hand right now that I had drawn. No, we'll just put Ring of Three Wishes in the field. Which Ring of Three Wishes is a fan-fucking-tastic card in this deck. And I've actually found something that'll make it even better that I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so it's got 3 counters. And I go up 1 life. Perfect. I'm going to swing for 6. Oh, it doesn't have 3 counters. Sorry, it only has 1 counter. That was right. It doesn't start. I'm thinking, yeah, because Ring of Three Wishes normally starts with 3. So, okay, we're at turn 6, and I just hit him for another 6. All right. Turn 7 has started, and he is at 22 health. So, I haven't got any of my big mana ramp cards yet. I'm not hurting for mana. I can play literally everything in my hand. And still can play everything in my hand. Ooh, yes. Okay. Speaking of things that make things cheaper. There we go. 3. Semblance Anvil. When Semblance Anvil enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Spells you cast that share their type with that exile card cost 2 less to cast. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Technically, I think everything in your hand, like everything is a spell. It is like a creature spell, and then, you know, everything is technically a spell. So, I think what I can do, if I'm not mistaken on this, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm, like I said, I'm still trying to relearn, and I really don't know the best way to go about kind of relearning everything because some stuff's crazy. So I should be able to exile Curse of Gamma, and that is an artifact equipment. Therefore, any artifacts I play should cost 2 less, if I'm not mistaken. So, unfortunately, we'll not be playing this right now because I'm going to tap 1 and then tap it to get another brick counter and gain 1 life. So let's track that. Boom, 2 counters, and I'm at 42 life. Excuse me. Swing for 6. That's end of turn 7, and he's down to 16. So I'm hitting pretty steadily for 6 right now, which is not terrible. If I could get a little bit more mana ramp and or get some more heavy hitting cards, because right now I'm fine on life. I'm good with reduction of 2 to all artifact things. This I'll be able to play if I want to this turn. There we go. Okay, there's another land. All right, I'm up to 6th land, which means I only need 2 to actually play this. So I'll play 2, pay 2 for Tower of Calamities since it's reduced by 2, which I can actually... Too bad it doesn't reduce... It's only reduced for casting cost, right? Yeah, to cast. Okay. Too bad it doesn't cost less here, because that would be huge. But I do not have 8 mana right now, which is going to be the only shitty part. And then I'll tap 1 for Elixir of a Shrine. And I don't think, because now it technically gains... So, yeah, it gains the life first, then I put the counter on. So next turn, I'll actually start gaining 2 life, which is pretty huge. That's actually going to be really, really nice. Okay, so I'm actually out of cards, That's turn. Oh no, sorry. Swing for 8. Swing for 6. Down to 10. Down to 10. It's turn 9. So right now, unless I get something really good, I'm gonna end this by turn 10 because I hit for 6. He'll be at 4. You know. Fuck. That's a really good card. I wish I had a way to sneak this in. I just drew Hand of a Miracle. Now, the thing that's really nice about this is, yes, it's not just a solely artifact deck. I do have some Eldrazi, because Eldrazi are also colorless. I kind of want to go more the artifact route, but Eldrazi are very powerful, and I like their heavy hitters. And that's another thing, is if I Semblance of Anvil a cheap Eldrazi, then a 9 cost becomes a 7 for a 7/7 that has Annihilator. I mean, and I could technically sacrifice 4 Eldrazi spawn, but I don't really have any way to spawn in Eldrazi spawns at the moment, so can't really do anything with that. Oh, wait, you know what I can do? Let me look at my land. See, this is where I also forget some stuff. Because technically, I can make Dread Golem a 4/2 Golem artifact creature that's still a land, and I can just swing with that. So yeah, actually I can end the game this turn. So yeah, I'll tap 4. So tap 4. This becomes a 4/2 that's still land. I will tap... Oh, I don't need to tap 1. Sorry. I will tap this. And then I will gain 2 life unnecessarily. But now I'm at 45 life. And then swing for 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, 10, and that is game by turn 9. So you see, that's kind of what I like to do, is just kind of play test, see like different combinations, different things. It gives you an idea of what works, what doesn't, and then you just start looking at stuff and you're like, what the hell could this card do? And you know, sometimes it doesn't work because you don't have an opponent, so you don't really know what would you be doing differently, what, you know, what would make said card that you think is useless actually work. So there's a lot of potential for very different things to occur in an actual real match, but I don't think that people should be dissuaded from at least trying this. It's something fun. It's something different. You know, I don't feel like a lot of people, I could be wrong. People could do this all the fucking time and they'd be like, oh, shit, you're an idiot. Why would you say, like, why would you think no one does this? And it's like, well, for that reason. Oh, strip mine. Yeah. I've got a lot of old lands in here. This deck is not a cheap deck either. This deck is probably, depending on what site you go with and what quality the cards are in, it's a $300 to $400 deck. So Kozilek is my commander, which, you know what, I just realized? I was a dumbass and didn't pull my commander out. I thought something felt off now that I'm thinking about it. Yes, this is another card I love. Dreamstone Hedron. It's a 6 cost, but tap it to add 3 to your mana. Like, that is a fucking... Oh. I can't tell you how many playtest games I Ring of 3 Wishes that card into my hand and then played it. Because if you've got enough mana to do Ring of 3 Wishes, you should have enough mana by, you know, either by the time you draw it and then play it next turn, or just to outright draw and play it. So, all right. So yeah, sorry. Kozilek is my butcher. It's my butcher. Is my commander. Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth, is my commander for this deck.